So, I don't know how much you guys know about the next video, but recently, there's some fighter pilots got shot down over Iran. And whereas I'm not going to go into the politics and stuff like this behind all this, I'm just kind of learning about how those pilots were recovered and brought home. Well, not brought home yet, but safely. They're safe now. And somebody linked me this video because this is all over the internet, and told me this was the best one to watch. So we're gonna watch it. I guess this dude knows a thing or two because he used to be in the U.S. Special Forces. He used to be a pilot himself. So we'll give him a watch.
On April 5th, 2026, day 37 of Operation Epic Fury, U.S. Special Forces rescued the second crew member of the F-15E fighter jet that was shot down.
Yeah, so like I said, basically a fighter jet was shot down. Both pilots ejected. One made it safely. One did not, and he was seriously injured. And as you can see, just in the middle of a wasteland. And U.S. forces were out there trying to find him to do search and rescue, while opposition forces were also out there searching for him too. So immediately, it's a terrifying situation. And like I said, he had some injuries too, and just being in that situation in general would be horrifying to me.
Over Iran. Saturday's operation was conducted by a specialized commando unit with a high volume of air cover. The U.S. forces unleashed a hail of heavy fire, and that all of the forces are now out of Iran. This wasn't just some easy pickup, though. This happened right in the heart of the incredibly rugged Zagros Mountains in southwestern Iran. In the
Look at that.
Chabahar and Bakhtari province near Dishat, we're talking steep, jagged ridgelines topping over 7,000 feet, deep, rocky valleys, loose shale slopes, and unforgiving.
Could you imagine how cold it gets at night
That's
there?
perfect for hiding, but absolutely hell for moving fast, especially when you're injured and being hunted by the IRGC. This video will recount the
I thought that was on my screen. I'm just like, why is this popping up? It was him.
actual rescue operation of the F-15E Wizzo. And President Trump posted this. He said, "We got him. My fellow Americans, over the past several hours, the United States military pulled off one of the most daring search and rescue operations."
I applaud this dude for reading all of what Donald Trump just posted, because half of this is just, I'm so awesome. I did this myself.
In U.S. history for one of our incredible crew member officers who also happens to be
We don't have to read this because he's going to read it to
us.
us.
I am thrilled to let you know is now safe.
Surely not the whole thing.
This warrior was behind enemy lines in treacherous mountains of Iran, being hunted down by our enemies who were getting closer and closer by the hour. But he was never truly alone because of his Commander-in-Chief, Secretary of War, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and
every time he gets to the podium, like you said, it just glazes himself every single time.
We're monitoring
every single time.
24 hours.
And the thing is, you got to watch him, because eventually he's going to say something that actually matters and that it's actually important. You just have to get through all the bullshit to get to the point. It is
a day and diligently planning
that's
for
Trump.
His rescue. But the IRGC wanted to get him first. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps was searching the entire area, including using their elite units and local militias. They swarmed the Black Mountain area with everything they had. Villagers were even offered big cash rewards by Tehran to join the hunt and turn in the American for a major propaganda.
Holy cow. A reward.
To win for Iran. But America answered the call with overwhelming force. Elite special operations teams, including Air Force Special Warfare Pararescue men, the legendary PJs, so that others may live, is their motto, and Naval Special Warfare Development Group operators were on the ground as well. Integrated team of special operators making it happen. Likely Delta Force could have been involved, Army Rangers, Green Berets, and then backed by the 160th Special Operations
The Green
Aviation Regiment,
Berets.
also known as the Night Stalkers. They fly the MH-6, the AH-6 Little Birds for lightning fast insertions, fire support, HH-60W Jolly Green helicopters for
Holy
heavy
cow.
combat rescue airlift, and A-10 Thunderbolt IIs overhead for brutal close air support. And this video right here is set.
Whoa, time out. So there's an actual battle. There's an actual battle at the site where the pilot was located. Like,
To be the actual final firefight. This is the final scene with likely A-10s rolling in, striking down some of these combatants that are trying
look
to get
at that.
the F-15E Wizzo
That's
before U.S.
insane.
forces. A massive firefight took place. MQ-9 Reaper drones were overhead. And speaking of MQ-9 Reapers, this report just came in. U.S. MQ-9 Reaper drones protected the rescued F-15E crew member by striking Iranian military-aged males believed to be a threat who got within 3 kilometers of the area.
And you know what else too? Is because you have to be somewhat low to the ground in order to be able to search for somebody. You can't be 20,000 feet up in the air. And so could you imagine? Because like they're saying, and like you brought up, both sides are looking for this one pilot. So these helicopters are low, right in firing range of probably even AKs and stuff. And so just even more at risk.
A person familiar with the operation told Air and Space Forces magazine this exact quote. MC-130J Commando 2 transports slipped into austere strips deep behind enemy lines, and likely even F-15E fighters going out to protect their member of their squadron, plus A-10s, F-35s, other birds up ahead providing air cover and jamming Iranian systems and signals and communications.
I wanted to be in the Air Force for the longest time. I thought it would be cool as heck to fly a plane.
He said, "We have rescued the seriously wounded and really brave F-15 crew member officer from deep inside the mountains of Iran. The Iranian military was looking hard in big numbers and getting close. He is a highly respected colonel. This type of raid is seldom attempted because of the danger to man and equipment. It just doesn't happen. The second raid came after the first one, where we rescued the pilot in broad daylight, also unusual, spending several hours over Iran. An amazing show of bravery and talent by all." This was one
he
of the
went
most
live
daring
earlier
search and
today.
rescue operations in U.S. history, and it reminds the world that the U.S. will never leave an American warfighter behind. No Americans were killed in the operation. The Wizzo injured but safe, and U.S. forces proved total dominance. Today we're walking through every fact that we know and the full story of how this daring rescue operation culminated in the safe rescue of this weapons systems operator, but it did culminate in one of the biggest firefights during a rescue operation in U.S. history. And this going down is going to change everything that we've heard about U.S. special operations versus the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. So it all started April 3rd, 2026, when that F-15E Strike Eagle was taken down by Iranian fire over the Zagros Mountains near Dishat. Wreckage photos surfaced fast as Iranian forces claimed the kill of the shootdown. Both the pilot and the highly respected colonel ejected.
It's kind of weird that this has been the only story that we've heard, because you would think that this would be happening a lot, because there's a lot of airspace presence over there right now.
Safely, but they were separated on the ground. They ejected at altitude so the winds can change the trajectory of those parachutes. They could land a mile or two away. The pilot was rescued the next day in an initial CSAR push, but the HH-60W Jolly Green helicopters that got the pilot took incoming fire and were damaged severely. Even crew members on those helicopters were wounded, but they made it back to base safely. U.S. officials stayed quiet on the second rescue.
Yeah, honestly, that would be the worst part, is as you're trying to hover these helicopters over to pick up this pilot, just the gunfire.
to protect the colonel
Ugh,
while
war
he
is
was
nasty,
evading. Meanwhile, IRGC
guys.
units
War is
behind the scenes
nasty.
and locals around the Black Mountain were actively hunting the colonel with bounties on his head of 60,000 US dollars, turning the entire region into a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. US intelligence, including CIA assets, kept constant eyes on the colonel weapons systems officer the whole time, but the colonel's solo survival story in those brutal mountains is even more incredible than what you can imagine. Let's step into the colonel's.
And could you imagine how hard it would have been for him to be able to communicate where he is to them? Because there's satellites, there's radio comms, just absolutely everything in that whole area that this is like we've been saying, everybody's looking for him. So everybody's going to pick up any kind of radio frequency that he tries to put out. So I wonder if they're able to find him through like some kind of encrypted signal that he sent or something like that, or if we'll find out.
Roots. This part is pure inspiration, and it shows why
Dude,
SEER,
this gotta
survival,
stop.
evasion, resistance, escape training, is worth every second and every penny that the US military spends on it. After ejecting, the colonel hits the rocky ground hard, sustains injuries, but instantly switches into full evasion mode. He moves away from the
There's
burning
elementary
wreckage as
school out in the middle of
quickly as
nowhere.
possible, using the steep terrain to break line of sight with IRGC search parties. He climbs through those jagged 7,000-foot ridge lines under the cover of darkness, choosing rocky crevices and shale slopes that make tracking difficult for ground teams or dogs. He avoids open areas and villages as best he can, staying high where
Reenactment.
patrols are less likely to move fast and capture him. From his perspective, it probably went something like this. The cold mountain air cut deep, ankle or leg throbbing from the landing, but SEER kicks in immediately. Ditch the chute and anything that could reflect light or make noise, then start moving uphill away from the crash site. Slow, deliberate, using
Yeah,
every
that's
shadow and
crazy.
ridge line to stay hidden. Find a good crevice, settle in, and activate the Combat Survivor Evader Locator Beacon.
Like you're literally sitting there like with a broken ankle, most likely on the side of a mountain. You have all that gear on, and you're just trying. I'll be honest with you. I couldn't do that right now. I'm man enough to say that. There's no way I'm trained enough to do that. There's no way. There's no way. There's
No
no way
long
I could
voice
do
calls
that.
that enemies could triangulate, just short encrypted data bursts via satellite that frequency hop and
And knowing that you're the most popular person in that entire area for good and bad. Yeah, honestly, I'm glad you brought that up because honestly, I think I would too. I think I'd rather die on impact than have to go through a nightmare of what this guy had to go through. That
look
would be
just like noise to
horrible.
the enemy. Send preloaded messages, injured but mobile, enemy active
Oh,
nearby. Request
wait a
just
second. Wait a
short
second.
encrypted data bursts via
So he
satellite that
did. So I'm
frequency
gonna go a little bit more.
uphill
Sorry,
away from the
guys.
crash site. Slow, deliberate, using every shadow and ridge line to stay hidden. Find a good crevice, settle in, and activate the Combat Survivor Evader Locator Beacon. No long voice calls that enemies could triangulate, just short encrypted
So
data
they
bursts
can't.
via satellite that
So it is
frequency
okay.
hop and look just like noise to the enemy. Send preloaded messages,
Ah,
injured but mobile, enemy active nearby. Request extraction window ASAP. That combat survival radio, that's the silent lifeline. Boeing built and ejection proof. It keeps CENTCOM updated in real time without compromising the colonel's position.
that's
So here's what the
impressive.
colonel likely did. Rationed his water, ate some of the emergency food. Got to keep the energy levels high so you can stay mobile and keep moving fast to stay away from those IRGC patrols. But you also need to stay motionless for hours when you hear those IRGC vehicles or voices echoing up from the valleys below. Then relocate only when it's safe. Climb higher or shift to new cover to throw off the
It's like
search.
that movie, The
Bounty
Running
hunters,
Man,
militias,
where
IRGC
he's trying to
special
avoid
ops
all
are
these
out
people
there
trying to kill him
trying
for
to
like
get you.
millions of
Drones,
dollars.
possibly scanning ridges. But trust your training, the SEER, the deception operations that are going on behind the scenes to feed the enemy information that you've already been extracted. Nearly 48 hours of pure discipline, minimal movement by day, careful navigation by night, conserving energy while your body fights the pain and the cold. But this colonel knew he was never truly alone. The president, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, secretary of war, and other war fighters from his unit and from Special Operations Forces are out there, ready to scoop him up when the time is right. As soon as the Wizzo confirmed that he was alive through the different techniques and tactics that you use for SEER, CENTCOM went into full go mode. Presidential Task Force spins up a massive joint special operations unit to go in and get the colonel. The prep was lightning fast but razor sharp. Intelligence briefs on IRGC movements, rehearsals on similar mountainous terrain at forward bases, and contingency
Right?
plans for
Because
everything from
some of those
sand
encrypted
traps to heavy
messages,
contact to
you think maybe
IEDs,
they did
improvised
just to kind
explosive
of throw off the
devices.
enemy,
On the ground,
like
you
send
had Air
secret
Force
codes of
Special Warfare
extractions. Who knows?
Pararescue Men, the PJs that live by the motto so that others may live. Teamed up with Navy SEALs, elite commandos from Delta Force, and also Green Berets.
And do you think the Iranians caught him as well and was going to his location, or do you think that they seen this rescue team coming in and that's when they're just like, oh, that must be where he's
In
at?
the air, the 160th SOAR Night Stalkers brought the MH6s, those little birds. Also, you have HC-130J Combat King tankers for refueling, and MC-130J Commando 2 transports that can land on rough strips deep in enemy territory and get everybody out. Reports are saying, and also this video right here from inside of Iran is a sighting of a C-295W from the secretive Air Force Special Operations Command's 427th Special Operations Squadron flying at low altitude over Iran during the operation. This is a rare glimpse of the highly specialized platform supporting deep penetration missions. And then overhead, A-10 fighters with their
Got little
GAL-8
cat
cannons,
whiskers.
MQ-9 Reaper drones for eyes in the sky, plus surveillance and electronic warfare aircraft jamming Iranian radars and comms. This was years of training and investment coming together in real time. But none of that prep would have mattered without the intense close quarter battle that erupted once the teams hit the ground. Under the cover of darkness late on April 4th, stretching into the early morning hours of April 5th, 2026, the rescue package went in deep.
Oh man, could you imagine if it went wrong too? Like when you watch those movies and how they're always celebrating, like yes, yes, we made it, and then they get eaten by something or somebody dies. Just like, dude. So blessed that this was a successful mission, but my gosh,
Straight into
I couldn't
contested
imagine what he was
territory
going through,
south of
or any of
Isfahan,
them.
near missile
Anybody who
bases,
was there,
nuclear sites,
period.
and
I couldn't
Iranian
imagine what was going
assets.
through their
Night
head.
Stalker helicopters inserted the special operations ground teams near the Wizzo's hide site in the mountains around Dadasht and Black Mountain. Reapers and strike aircraft provided overwatch while the team linked up with the colonel in his hiding spot, stabilized him right there, and started moving him out. But
You know,
that's
not
when
at
Iranian
people,
forces
but
who had been
it would be
hunting them
fun
relentlessly
to shoot that
closed in
gun.
hard on the
Think of
extraction
the
site,
think of the
triggering
thrill
a
you'd get out of
massive
shooting that
firefight.
thing.
U.S.
Holy
Special
cow!
Operations unleashed a high volume of heavy suppressive fire, fighting with everything they had so that others may live. Also, A-10C Thunderbolts up overhead rolled in with devastating close air support, while Little Birds added rockets and mini gunfire. It was fierce and close quarters, and there's rumors of burned out Little Bird wrecks at the crash site showing exactly how hot the engagement got in the Dadasht area. This is one of the deepest penetrations into defended Iranian territory in modern times. Iranian forces actively trying to stop the rescue, but warriors from the USA held the line. They protected the colonel and kept the fight under control. But after that firefight, the exfiltration brought its own edge of your seat drama. The rescue force, now with the
Really?
freed colonel,
There's more?
rendezvoused at the remote, austere Ford airfield and Ford arming refueling point just south of Isfahan. Multiple MC-130J Commando 2 transports landed inside enemy territory to pull everyone out, but two of the MC-130Js got bogged down in the soft sand, wheels sinking in with no safe way out. With Iranian forces closing in, there was zero time to waste. U.S. Special Operations teams rigged demolition charges and destroyed the aircraft in place, setting them ablaze to deny Iran any technology, wreckage, or propaganda
That's
win.
smart.
Thick black
That's
smoke
smart.
rose from the hulks and burned out Little Birds.
So I must miss it. So they just loaded up in another plane then, and then they just blew up those two.
Also
That's pretty
left at the
smart.
site after their critical role in the fight. The call went out right away. 3 replacement aircraft came in. Maybe those 295Ws loaded the entire force, including the stabilized colonel, and exfiltrated
Yeah, that's
everyone
what happened.
safely out of Iran and back to friendly airspace. Mission complete, no loose ends left behind, proving once again why America's military is the greatest fighting force the world has ever seen. So from the colonel's solo evasion perspective in those brutal Zagros mountains to the intense firefight and gritty exfil, this operation showcases exactly what makes the US military unmatched. Elite teams executing their operations under fire, world-class aircraft and systems delivering results, and that ironclad American
I'll
commitment
let it
to
play through.
never leave a warfighter behind. The Wizzo sustained injuries, but is now safe in friendly territory. So hats off to the rescue teams. So proud of all the different special operations forces and the special aviation units that made this happen, as well as the fighter pilots that were up overhead protecting this whole operation, the drone operators that were the eyes in the sky protecting this weapon systems operator. My hat goes off to all these exceptional warriors that were involved in this operation. What part of this rescue operation are you most fired up about? Let me know in the comments below. Would love to hear what you think. And then go ahead and follow me on X, follow me on Instagram. I'm posting there pretty much every day. Click the link in the description. Join the Max Ready Room. I do priority replies to members in the live streams, and I'm pretty much doing live streams every day
This is a
at
good
this
video.
point. And then watch this next video that pops up right here. This is Ryan, also known as Max Afterburner, signing off.
That's actually a really good video. I'm going to give him a subscribe. If you guys liked it, you can too. But what I was
It's
getting ready to
Monday,
say
April
is
6th, 2026, day
what's crazy about this too, and another reason why I wanted to watch this video is because it puts in perspective not only what soldiers from all around the world are doing when they go to war, but also the strategy behind it that most normal day, especially Americans like myself, don't understand. And so that was a wonderful video. That was impressively put together. And I'm so happy that that pilot got rescued. But as always, my heart goes out to every single person involved directly or indirectly in this war that's going on right now. I hate it. It's not fun. It's not great to see. It's just war's just not great to see in general.